जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Why we are conducting this program is for the two reasons. The long-term one and the short-term one. Long-term one, you have a lot of ideas. Just now, Chauhan sir also met a lot of startups. He has interacted with them. He has spent a lot of time with them. They've given their ideas, how they're working on it, how much they're selling every month. A lot of them are doing very successful businesses. Same way, you also will have a lot of ideas. Definitely you want to do a startup, you want to build a business, you want to do something, you want to find a solution to a problem that no one is finding. So you also want to build that business. That is a long-term prospect. Once you build the business, right now in India, there is no dearth of ideas, there is no dearth of money. If you have a good idea, a lot of people want to come and invest in your business, definitely. But there is another way of getting an investment also. That is why this outreach program, this seminar is being conducted on the long-term prospect. When you have a good idea, when you have a startup, when you get your friends together, come up with the idea, okay, I'm doing this startup, I want to raise the money. Then all of a sudden, it can't happen unless you understand how the financial ecosystem works. So that is the reason why we are conducting this. That is a long-term plan. But the short-term plan is when you are an adult, when you are 18-year-old, 19-year-old, you are adult, you have enough time in your hands. How you can utilize if at least 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day to actually look for some other opportunities outside, part-time opportunities outside when you're doing undergrad. That is the question that you should be answering. That is the opportunity that you should be taking on. That is the reason, that is a short-term thing with which I've asked, I requested Chauhan ji to come over, NSE team to come over and plant that seed in your mind. What are the opportunities that are there? So I'm doing my engineering, what can I do? What opportunities that I have? There are a lot of opportunities. You can do 1 hour or 2 hour a day. Even if 4 or 5 hours a week also, there are enough opportunities that are there. For example, there is a mutual fund distributor. The people that are there doing it, but they're definitely not as qualified, not as smart as you are. So this is what thought with which we have invited them. So please listen carefully. I request MBA department, and don't just offer these courses only to the MBA student, but actually offer these courses to engineering students as well. The certifications to engineering students as well. I want most of them to be certified. I want, financial literacy should be the main thing for everyone. You need to understand how the markets work, how the world works. It's not just about getting a salary of 30,000 rupees and making sure how you spend the 30,000 rupees. That is only one way. But you have to see how the world is moving, how the different sectors are moving. For you to understand that, if you do these courses, definitely you will be in a better position, better understanding of the markets. So I hope you take this opportunity with both your hands. And another target I want is at least in the next 1 year, you don't have to trade huge or something like that, but at least in the next 1 year, 50% of the students should have a demat account. Have only 500 rupees in that. Have only 1,000 rupees in that. I don't mind. But have an account so you understand. Department can start one simulator in the campus itself. Let them do the simulation trading itself on the campus. Why not? Why we have to only be focused on those engineering courses, those management courses? They can look beyond.
When you think of money, you think of how to use money, right? And how money moves from one to another. one person to another, one institution to another. And largely speaking, you make some money, or your family makes some money, some of that you use, and some of that you save, right? And that saving is, why do we do save? I mean, saving. And no other animal does saving, right? But humans are one interesting animal where they end up saving something for the bad times or for future or for the old age and things like that, right? And so, in a way, savings has something to do with money, right? And so, somewhere on the line in any economy, there are two ways in which money moves. One, when you save the money, or even for transaction, where do you keep your money? In a bank, right? That part is called intermediation. That is, you give money to bank or an agency, and that money they will have to give you back with interest, right? If it's savings, then it will be slightly less interest. Fixed deposit will be more, and things like that, right? But you give money to banks, and then what does bank do with that money? Bank on-lends it to somebody, right? And so some industrialist, some person wanting to build her house or some business, and so that money bank gives it to somebody wanting to do, say, a restaurant. And so if that person who borrows the money from bank, if he doesn't give you the money back to bank, what will happen? Does bank cut your money? No, right? So that framework of you giving money on principal basis, you know concept of principal, right? There is a concept of principal and there is concept of agent. So the bank is taking your money as a principal, and then separately, unconnected, they give it to somebody else. If they don't give the money back, still the bank has to make your money good, right? So that portion, that type of life or that type of money activities is called intermediation in economics. And then there is another method which is called disintermediation, where you give money to a broker who invests your money in a stock. The broker is just the person who is taking a commission to get you the share of that company. He's not, suppose the share prices go down, it's your problem. If share prices go up, it's a good thing for you. But the broker has nothing to do with that. So it's a way where you are the principal and other side is a share of a company, right? The broker is only a person who is getting you to get those shares. When you sell the shares, he will get you the money by selling those shares. But today, suppose you buy shares at say 120 rupees for a company, and after 5 years it becomes 200 rupees, then that 80 rupees you make is yours. That broker only gets to keep his brokerage, right? So those are the two ways things happen. One is the intermediation which banking system does. Other is disintermediation which the stock market system does.
How will you tell your grandmother what is inflation? Not easy, right? But let's take an example. That's what probably I told my parents. Today you have 1,000 rupees. You don't want to spend that 1,000 rupees. You want to keep that 1,000 rupees in your locker at home, safe. After 2 years also you have 1,000 rupees. Nothing has changed. You're still rich. Right? After 2 years, you still have those 1,000 rupees. But what has changed? How inflation has affected it? The money is still there, na? The answer lies that probably 2 years back, those 1,000 rupees probably used to get you probably, let's say, 10 kilos of dal. And today, after 2 years, it will fetch you probably 6 kilos of dal. That is what is inflation all about. We all like gold. How many of you are aware that the moment you buy a gold jewelry, you are actually at loss? How many of you are aware? I don't know. How many of the students are aware? You are actually at loss. Because the moment you buy a gold jewelry, first of all, you are buying it, let's say 22 carat. This is a separate certain price attached to it. You're over and above that, you're giving them certain charges in terms of whatever he may call. Making charges, these charges, those charges. And secondly, are you very sure about the purity of that gold, of what he's talking about in terms of 22 carat? Nobody's sure. So at immediate loss. So the asset avenues, wherever you want to put your money tomorrow, what is it that it should be actually having some ingredients, some parameters? What is it that? We have to inculcate the habit of putting our money into an avenue where it will actually help, it will actually work as a passive earning member. Believe me, there are many people who have actually invested many years back just because someone told them you should do some kind of investment, and those have grown over a period of time. So what is it that you should be looking when I said for investment? I've said I'll come back to that. You need to have a very clear and transparent mechanism about the prices. Where you'll get that? Think about it. A certainty that when you sell the asset or when you buy the asset, it would be coming in your name. A certainty that when you sell the asset, you will get the money back. Because today in other asset classes, probably let's say real estate or anything, it's all about a chance. The person who's going to sell to you, whether it's really the owner, you don't know till you buy it and then you actually try to experience it. Similarly, when you try to sell it, whether he'll give the money to you or not, you don't know. There are so many, uncertainties out there. So this is what you should be looking at when you put your money somewhere, that whether you have certainty in terms of, let's say, the visibility of prices, the visibility of getting your money back to you when you sell, and the visibility of getting your asset to you when you buy it. These are some of the ingredient things. So this you should be keeping in your mind.